The unexpected visitor. Commander Sarah Chen stared through the quantum microscope at the peculiar crystalline structure floating in the containment field. The late-night silence of the Lunar Research Station's Advanced Genetics Lab was broken only by the soft hum of equipment and the rhythmic beeping of life support systems. "What are you?" she whispered, adjusting the magnification. The crystal had appeared 3 days ago, seemingly materializing from nowhere inside a sealed experimental chamber. Initial scans suggested it contained genetic material unlike anything ever recorded on Earth. The crystal pulsed with a faint blue glow, its lattice structure shifting in ways that defied known physics. Sarah's heart raced as she documented another impossible change in its molecular arrangement. After 15 years as the lead researcher in xenobiology, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. A soft chime from her computer interrupted her observations. "Commander Chen, unusual energy signature detected in Lab 3, the AI's calm voice announced. Pattern matches the crystal's quantum frequency." Sarah's head snapped up. "Show me." The holoscreen flickered to life, displaying Lab 3's security feed. A swirling vortex of iridescent light had appeared in the center of the room. As Sarah watched, transfixed, a figure stepped through. The being was humanoid, but clearly alien, tall and graceful, with skin that shimmered like mother of pearl. Its eyes were pools of swirling silver, and what looked like crystalline filaments floated around its head like underwater hair. It wore something resembling a ceremonial robe that seemed to be made of living light. Sarah's hand hovered over the security alarm, but curiosity won out. The alien raised its hands in a universal gesture of peace. "Please," it spoke, its voice melodious and multi-toned. "I mean no harm. I am Princess Lyra of the Crystalline Dominion. I've come seeking asylum and help." Sarah straightened, her scientific mind already cataloging details. "I'm Commander Sarah Chen. Why here? Why our facility?" "Because you're the only ones who might understand." Lyra gestured to the crystal in the containment field. "That's a piece of my genetic matrix. I sent it ahead to test if your technology could analyze it. You're far more advanced than we believed." "You're dying," Sarah realized, noting the subtle instabilities in the alien's form. "Your genetic structure is degrading." Lyra's expression flickered with surprise and hope. "Yes, a side effect of my abilities. My people are crystalline beings, but I was born different. I can alter my molecular structure at will, but each change brings more instability." The princess moved closer, her form briefly wavering. "My people fear what they don't understand. They would rather see me die than risk my contamination spreading. But your species, humans, are different. You embrace change, seek out the unknown. Your own genetic diversity is remarkable." "You want us to help stabilize your genome?" Sarah asked, her mind already racing with possibilities. "More than that." Lyra's voice took on an urgent tone. "I've studied your species in secret. Human DNA has unique properties, adaptability, resilience. I believe a union between our species could save not just me, but revolutionize both our civilizations." Sarah's eyes widened as she understood. "You're proposing genetic hybridization? That's unprecedented." "I'm proposing marriage," Lyra said softly. "In my culture, genetic bonding is sacred, performed only between life partners. The strength of the emotional bond directly affects the stability of the genetic fusion." Before Sarah could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. "Multiple quantum signatures detected," the AI announced, "similar to the princess's entry point." Lyra's face paled, her form flickering more severely. "They found me. The Dominion's hunters. Please, Commander Chen, Sarah, I need your answer now. Will you help me? Will you join with me to forge something entirely new?" Sarah looked at the desperate alien princess, then at the crystal that had started it all. In that moment, she knew her answer would change not just their lives, but the course of human history. The story of humanity's first interspecies marriage was about to begin. The hunters arrive. Sarah's fingers flew across the holographic controls, initiating emergency protocols. Ally, lock down all quantum research labs. Route auxiliary power to the containment shields. You don't understand. Lyra's voice quavered, her crystalline form pulsing with anxiety. The hunters aren't just soldiers. They're genetic purists who believe my existence threatens the very foundation of our society. The station shuddered as multiple quantum portals materialized. Through the lab's windows, Sarah watched in horror as crystalline warriors emerged, their bodies like living diamond formations shaped into lethal angles. Unlike Lyra's fluid grace, they moved with rigid, militaristic precision. Commander Chen, the AI warned, intruders have breached labs 4 through 7. Their weapons are unlike anything in our database. Sarah made her decision. Follow me, she grabbed Lyra's hand, gasping at the electric tingle of contact between their species. They raced through the corridors toward the station's experimental wing. Where are we going? Lyra asked, her form flickering between solid and semi-transparent as stress compromised her molecular stability. The quantum fusion chamber, Sarah explained, her voice steady despite their desperate flight. If your theory about human crystalline hybridization is correct, it might be our only chance. We've been using it to study particle fusion, but never with living organisms. They reached the chamber just as the first hunter rounded the corner. Its crystalline body refracted the emergency lights, sending rainbow-hued death beams slicing through the air. Abomination. The hunter's voice grated like grinding gems. You dare corrupt another species with your impurity. Sarah sealed the lab doors, but they wouldn't hold long. She turned to Lyra, whose form was now barely holding together. The chamber could kill us both, she warned. The energies involved in quantum fusion are incredibly unstable. Lyra's silver eyes met Sarah's. Better death than letting them enforce their twisted vision of genetic purity. At least this way, we die trying to build bridges between our peoples. The doors began to glow red as the hunter's weapons carved through. Sarah activated the chamber's startup sequence, her heart pounding. For the record, this isn't how I imagined getting married. Lyra's laugh chimed like crystal bells. In my culture, facing death together is considered quite romantic. The chamber hummed to life around them as Sarah input the final commands. AI, initiate quantum fusion sequence. Authorization, Chen Alpha 7. Warning, the AI responded. Biological fusion protocols are untested. Survival probability, less than 20%. Sometimes the greatest discoveries require the biggest risks, Sarah said, taking Lyra's hand as the chamber filled with swirling quantum energies. Ready? The princess's form synchronized with Sarah's heartbeat, their molecular structures beginning to resonate. Together, Lyra whispered. The doors burst open as the hunters breached the lab. Their crystal weapons powered up, but they froze at the sight before them. Sarah and Lyra stood in the quantum chamber, their forms beginning to merge as ancient crystalline technology met cutting-edge human science. The chamber erupted with blinding light as two species became one. The hunters' weapons had no effect on the quantum-shielded fusion process. When the light faded, a single figure stood in the chamber, neither fully human nor crystalline, but something gloriously new. Sarah/Lyra opened their eyes, now swirling with both silver starfields and warm human brown. Their skin shifted between flesh and crystal, finding perfect balance between stability and change. They spoke with a voice that resonated on multiple harmonious frequencies. We are the bridge, they declared to the astounded hunters. The living proof that diversity breeds strength, that change brings evolution, that love transcends all forms. The hunters lowered their weapons, their rigid beliefs shaken by the miracle before them. In that moment, the future of both species was forever altered. The line between human and alien, between flesh and crystal, had been beautifully, irrevocably blurred. And it was only the beginning. Echoes of change. The news of what happened at the Lunar Research Station spread across Earth and the crystalline dominion like wildfire. Sarah/Lyra's merged form, now calling themselves Stella, became living proof of what both species could achieve together. Earth's governments scrambled to respond. In an emergency United Earth Council session, delegates debated the implications of the first human-alien fusion. Some called it a threat to human genetic purity, eerily echoing the crystalline hunter's own fears. Others saw it as humanity's next great leap forward. In their secured quarters at the lunar station, Stella worked with a select team of scientists to understand their new existence. Their body could shift between solid and crystalline states at will, maintaining perfect stability where before there had been chaos. More incredibly, they could access both Sarah's scientific knowledge and Lyra's ancient crystalline wisdom simultaneously. The cellular integration is unlike anything we've ever seen, Dr. Marcus Wong reported, reviewing the latest scans. It's not just a merger, it's an entirely new form of life. Stella nodded, their skin rippling with iridescent patterns. We are more than the sum of our parts. Every moment brings new discoveries about what we're capable of. But not everyone celebrated these discoveries. Anti-alien protests erupted in major cities across Earth. The Crystalline Dominion's ruling council declared the fusion an abomination, demanding their immediate separation, if such a thing were even possible. Then came the first sign that something bigger was happening. Reports trickled in from around the world of humans and visiting crystalline beings experiencing spontaneous resonance when in close proximity. The quantum frequency of Stella's fusion was somehow awakening latent compatibility between the species. We're acting as a catalyst, Stella realized, watching footage of a human doctor and crystalline Hela's aura synchronizing as they worked together. Our union is showing others the possibility of harmony. The situation reached a turning point when a group of crystalline refugees arrived at the lunar station, led by none other than Lyra's younger sister, Princess Aurora. Unlike the hunters, they sought understanding rather than destruction. The old guard is losing control, Aurora explained, her form shimmering with excitement. More of our people question the dogma of genetic purity. They see what you've achieved, not just survival, but transcendence. Stella embraced their sister/sister-in-law, the contact creating beautiful resonance patterns in the air. Then perhaps it's time we showed both our peoples a full truth of what we've discovered. Using the station's quantum communications array, Stella broadcast their message to Earth and the crystalline dominion simultaneously. Their dual-toned voice carried across the vastness of space, bearing witness to a new possibility for both species. We are neither human nor crystalline, yet we are both. In our fusion, we found not loss of identity, but expansion of understanding. The barriers between our species were never meant to be walls, but bridges waiting to be built. They demonstrated their abilities, shifting between forms, manipulating quantum energies, accessing the combined knowledge of both civilizations. This power could be used to heal worlds, to restore dying ecosystems, to unlock technologies beyond our current imagination. But first, we must heal the rift between our peoples. The broadcast ended with a proposal that would change everything. We call for the establishment of a convergence council where humans and crystallines can work together to explore controlled fusion partnerships. Not everyone need follow our path, but all deserve the chance to choose it. The response was immediate and overwhelming. While hardliners on both sides dug in their heels, thousands of humans and crystallines stepped forward, volunteering to be part of this new future. Looking out at the Earth glowing blue below them, Stella felt the rightness of their joined existence. They were no longer just a desperate experiment in survival. They had become a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of choosing love over fear, unity over division. The true revolution was just beginning. Rising tides. The first Convergence Center opened in Geneva 3 months after Stella's broadcast. The gleaming facility, designed by human and crystalline architects, became a beacon for those seeking understanding between species. Inside, carefully matched pairs of humans and crystallines explored the possibilities of resonance under strict scientific protocols. Dr. Elena Santos, the center's director, worked tirelessly to document each successful fusion. "Every pair teaches us something new," she reported to Stella during their weekly quantum conference. "The compatibility patterns we're seeing suggest this isn't random. Both our species might have been evolving toward this convergence for millennia." But dark forces were gathering. The Crystalline Dominion's hardline faction, led by Grand Purifier Obsidian, launched a military coup against the moderate council members. Their message spread like a virus through crystalline communities. Fusion was corruption, change was death, purity must be preserved at all costs. On Earth, a shadowy organization called Human Heritage emerged, launching attacks on convergence facilities. Their leader, a former genetics professor named Victor Kane, preached that fusion would erase human uniqueness forever. Stella received the news of these developments in their private chambers at the lunar station. The part of them that was Sarah felt the scientific tragedy of such willful ignorance. The part that was Lyra grieved for her people's fear. Together, they knew they had to act. "We need to show them they're fighting against their own evolution," Stella announced to the emergency session of the Convergence Council. Their form shifted between states as they spoke, each transition a testament to the harmony possible between flesh and crystal. The attacks, the fear, it's all based on a fundamental misunderstanding of what we're becoming. Working with both human and crystalline scientists, Stella revealed their greatest discovery yet. Deep within the quantum patterns of successful fusions lay evidence of ancient contact between their species. Earth's earliest crystals contained traces of crystalline quantum signatures. The Dominion's oldest archives held stories of soft-form visitors who could touch their crystalline ancestors without shattering them. "We're not creating something new," Stella explained, their voice resonating with the profound truth. "We're remembering something ancient. Our species have danced this dance before, but fear and prejudice made us forget." The revelation sent shockwaves through both civilizations. Moderate factions gained strength as more people began to question the artificial barriers between species. Young crystallines defected from the purifiers in growing numbers. Human Heritage's support began to crumble as their ideology was exposed as historically ignorant. But the Hardeners wouldn't go quietly. Obsidian and Kane, in a desperate alliance, planned a simultaneous strike on major convergence centers worldwide. They believed that by destroying the physical symbols of fusion, they could halt the tide of change. They didn't count on the power of evolved fusion pairs. At each targeted facility, bonded humans and crystallines stood together, their merged forms generating quantum shields that turned the attackers' weapons useless. The attempted violence became instead a powerful demonstration of fusion's defensive capabilities. In the aftermath, Stella addressed both worlds again. "To those who fear change, look at what we've achieved. Not the loss of identity, but the gain of understanding. Not the death of culture, but the birth of wisdom. We stand ready to open our hearts, share our knowledge, and build a future worthy of both our people's greatest dreams." The message reached even the most hardened hearts. Obsidian's forces began to desert him. Kane's organization imploded as key members publicly embraced the truth about human crystalline history. The tide of change had become a tsunami that no force of fear could stop. As the sun rose over Earth the next day, the lines between human and crystalline, between fear and hope, between past and future, had been redrawn forever. The age of convergence had truly begun. Birth of a new era. The first generation of fusion children changed everything. Born to bonded human crystalline pairs, these hybrid beings embodied possibilities no one had imagined. They emerged from quantum gestation chambers glowing with internal light, their forms naturally shifting between flesh and crystal states. At the New Singapore Convergence Academy, Dr. Maya Patel led the research into hybrid development. "Each child displays unique abilities," she reported to Stella, who had become a mentor to these new beings. "They can manipulate quantum fields instinctively. Their genetic structure is perfectly stable, combining the best traits of both species. Young Aurora, named after Lyra's sister, demonstrated the most remarkable abilities. At 6 years old, she could already create small quantum portals, her mind naturally understanding the complex physics that had once required massive machines. Her laughter caused crystal gardens to grow, turning ordinary matter into beautiful crystalline structures. The success of these children drew more couples to the convergence centers. The waiting lists grew as humans and crystallines, seeing the beauty of what they could create together, sought their own perfect matches. But it was the discovery in the Amazon that truly cemented humanity's quantum heritage. A team of archaeologists uncovered an ancient temple, its walls made of living crystal that responded to human touch. Inside, they found records of the first convergence, a time when humans and crystallines had lived together on Earth, before fear and war drove them apart. Stella led the investigation personally, their merged form uniquely suited to interpreting the quantum-encoded histories. "Our separation was never meant to be permanent," they announced, their voice thick with emotion. "We were meant to find each other again, to remember what we once were, and what we could become." The hybrid children proved to be the key to unlocking the temple's deepest secrets. Their natural quantum abilities activated ancient machinery, revealing holographic records of a civilization far more advanced than either modern humans or crystallines. The ancient fusion society had achieved technological and spiritual heights that seemed almost magical. They learned to reshape planets, Aurora gasped, her small hands tracing the recorded images. They could heal entire ecosystems, travel between stars without ships, create new forms of life itself. But the records also showed why it had ended: fear, prejudice, and a terrible war that forced the species apart. The crystallines fled to the stars, while humans forgot their quantum heritage, buried beneath millennia of evolution and amnesia. The knowledge changed both civilizations profoundly. The remaining hardliners could no longer deny the truth of their shared history. Humanity's quantum awakening accelerated as more people discovered abilities that had laid dormant in their genes. The convergence centers evolved into great academies where all forms of life, human, crystalline, hybrid, and new variations yet unnamed, could learn and grow together. The ancient temple became the heart of a new civilization, one that honored both the wisdom of the past and the promise of the future. Stella, watching hybrid children play in gardens of living crystal while their multi-species parents looked on with joy, felt the deep rightness of it all. The desperate flight of an exiled princess had led to more than just survival or acceptance. It had brought about the rebirth of something ancient and wonderful. The next chapter in the story of their joined species was just beginning, and it promised to be more beautiful than anyone could have imagined. The final test. 10 years after the first fusion, Earth crystal civilization faced its greatest challenge. Deep space sensors detected a massive quantum anomaly approaching the solar system, the awakening of the ancient guardians, beings created during the first convergence to test future generations' worthiness. These guardians, neither fully crystalline nor human, but something far more evolved, emerged from quantum space in massive ships that dwarfed Earth's largest cities. Their message was clear: prove that this new fusion of species deserved to inherit the legacy of the ancient civilization. Stella led the response team, supported by the first generation of hybrid children, now approaching adolescence. Aurora, at 16, had become a prodigy in quantum manipulation. Together, they faced the Guardians' trials. The first test challenged their wisdom. The Guardians presented moral dilemmas that required understanding both human emotion and crystalline logic. The hybrid children excelled, their dual nature allowing them to see solutions their ancestors would have missed. The second trial tested their mastery of quantum physics. The Guardians threatened to destabilize the Sun unless the Fusion Society could demonstrate control over fundamental forces. Working together, humans, crystallines, and hybrids created a quantum network that not only stabilized the star but enhanced its efficiency. The final test proved the most demanding. The Guardians required proof that the species could truly function as one. They activated ancient quantum triggers buried in human and crystalline DNA, temporarily forcing all fused pairs to separate. In that moment of crisis, something remarkable happened. Instead of falling into chaos, the separated pairs reached out to each other, their quantum bonds transcending physical form. The hybrid children, led by Aurora, created a quantum resonance field that helped stabilize both species. The Guardians witnessed as humans and crystallines chose to refuse, not from necessity or fear, but from love and understanding. The hybrids demonstrated powers beyond even the Guardians' predictions, accessing the quantum field in ways the ancients had only theorized. Satisfied, the Guardians revealed their true purpose. They weren't just testing the new civilization, they were ensuring it was ready to face a greater challenge. The quantum anomaly they had detected wasn't their arrival, but something else approaching from deep space, something that had caused the separation of species eons ago. As the Guardians shared their knowledge and technology, Stella realized that everything, their fusion, the hybrid children, even the conflicts they'd overcome, had been preparation for this moment. The ancient civilization hadn't just left a legacy, they'd left a mission. Looking out at the assembled faces, human, crystalline, hybrid, and Guardian, Stella felt the weight and wonder of their joined destiny. The exiled princess and the curious scientist who had dared to love against all odds had started more than a revolution. They had reignited an ancient flame of hope. Together, they would face whatever emerged from the quantum depths of space. This time, their civilization would not fracture in fear. This time, they would stand united, in all their beautiful, diverse, evolved forms. The true purpose of their convergence was about to be revealed, the final evolution. As the quantum storm approached from deep space, Earth Crystal civilization prepared for its ultimate challenge. The threat that had once torn their ancestors apart had returned, the void entropy, a cosmic force that consumed all forms of organized matter and energy. Stella and Aurora stood at the command center of Unity Station, a massive quantum installation built with Guardian technology in Earth's orbit. Holographic displays showed the approaching darkness that defied all known physics. This is what they feared, Stella realized, their merged form pulsing with ancient memories unlocked by the Guardians. Our ancestors couldn't face it as divided species. The void feeds on separation, on the spaces between things. The hybrid children, now young adults, gathered around Aurora as she accessed the quantum field. Their combined abilities revealed patterns in the chaos. The void wasn't just destroying, it was seeking. It hungered for the very thing their civilization had achieved, perfect unity between different forms of existence. Humanity's quantum awakening had spread globally. Even those who hadn't chosen fusion could now access their dormant abilities. The crystallines had evolved too, their rigid structures becoming more adaptable without losing their essential nature. Together, they represented a level of evolution the void had never encountered. As the entity entered the solar system, its effects became clear. Quantum bonds began to fray. Fusion pairs felt the strain of maintaining their unified forms. The hybrid children, however, grew stronger, their intrinsic harmony naturally resistant to the void's influence. Aurora stepped forward, her form shifting between states like liquid light. "We don't need to fight it," she announced, her insight resonating through the quantum network that connected their civilization. "We need to show it a new way to exist." Understanding dawned across the unified worlds. The void sought to break things apart because it had never known true joining. It was entropy incarnate, the ultimate expression of separation and decay. In a coordinated effort unlike anything in human or crystalline history, the entire civilization linked through the quantum field. Fusion pairs, hybrid children, solar humans, and crystallines all contributed their unique frequencies to a harmony of existence. Stella and Aurora led the symphony of consciousness, their combined powers orchestrating the greatest fusion ever attempted. As the void approached Earth, it encountered not resistance or weakness, but an offer of transformation. The quantum field erupted with light as billions of beings chose unity over division, love over fear, creation over destruction. The void's darkness met a force more fundamental than entropy, the power of conscious evolution, of life choosing to grow beyond its origins. In that moment of ultimate contact, something miraculous happened. The void, touched by the harmony of unified existence, began to change. Its destructive hunger transformed into creative potential. The force that had threatened to end them instead became part of their next evolution. As the light faded, Earth's sky had changed forever. The void's darkness had become a quantum aurora, a permanent reminder of how far they'd come and how far they could still go. The hybrid children could see new possibilities in the transformed quantum field, doorways to dimensions their ancestors had never imagined. Stella looked at their civilization, no longer just a fusion of two species, but a continuum of infinite potential. The desperate quest of an exiled princess for acceptance had led to more than survival or unity. It had opened the door to humanity's ultimate destiny. Aurora smiled, her quantum senses already exploring the new frontiers they created. "This isn't an ending," she said, her voice carrying the wisdom of both her human and crystalline heritage. "It's an invitation to begin again." As the transformed void danced in Earth's sky, the next chapter of their story beckoned. They had faced the ultimate test not by fighting or resisting, but by offering a greater truth, that love, understanding, and the choice to grow together could transform even the darkest forces in the universe. The age of separation was truly over. The age of infinite possibility had begun.